Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. Actually, do we even have audio right now? Guess we're going to have to check. How's everyone doing tonight? If you can hear me, if you can't hear me, we're going to figure things out very soon. Please be patient with the new tech. Let's see. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. I think that sounds a lot better. I actually was able to work on the microphone. ChatGPT, man, it ruined my laptop, but it's good for other stuff. I think it actually sounds a lot more professional now than it used to. Excuse me 1 second here, man. Let me just. Well, everyone's no one's here yet. Well, let's close up here. All right, just wanted to close that door there so we get good audio. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. Some new touches on the show. I don't know if you'll notice them. We got rid of the time at the top right corner. Just because I wanted to make it look a little better. But tonight's going to be a pretty chill stream, dude. We're going to have a nice, interesting, chill stream. We have to start with our usual, the plugs. Let me make sure that the audio is working. Dude, the audio sounds really good. I'm very happy with how ChatGPT adjusted my mic settings. All right, so let's get to the plugs so we can get into the actual show because Piers Morgan, once again, welcome to the King Leo Show, everybody. I'm your host, King Leo. Piers Morgan has been on a rampage, dude. Some people take a break. Piers Morgan has not taken a break over Thanksgiving. He's British, so it's not really fair, right? But, you know, it still counts for something. So Piers has been on the down tear, dude. He's been doing some wild shit, and we gotta look at it. All right. Before that, though, here we see our plugs. Let me do this, man. I'm sorry, everybody. There we go. All right. So here we have our plugs. I'm still working on getting rid of this little green box, man. It's not easy. This little here you can see is the Patreon, $5 a month or $20 a month, up to you. Here we have the What Would Piers Morgan Do bracelets, which we have right here. Or What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelets, available for sale on Ko-fi or Coffee. And we have the Discord, of course, which you can join for free. All right, everybody, let's get into it. In order to get into it, I think we're gonna have to start with Schizo Watch. It might be a little bit shorter today, because man, we have to look at Trump's Thanksgiving tweet, man. That's gonna be an interesting read. So let's get to Schizo Watch, where we have to start. We have to go to Twitter for it, man. I think we should start here. We should address what we talked about last time. This Afghan guy who shot the National Guard. I said last time, hey, this seems a little schizo. This seems a little, if it were me 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, look, it's MK Ultra, just a bunch of, I don't know if that's true or not, but let's see what Lara Logan, who is pretty much an insane person at this point, what she had to say about it, and if we can get the real story here. So the DC Guardsman shooting isn't adding up. Shooter Rahmanullah Lakanwal, CIA-backed Kandahar Strike Force veteran, per leaked ID, and Ratcliffe in a Fox News interview confirmed Lakanwal's ties to the CIA as part of a partner force in Kandahar. Based on declassified intel, briefings ambushed two unarmed guardsmen at 2:15 p.m. Eastern yesterday, yelling Allahu Akbar, critical but alive. But Google Trends, his name spiked in DC at 2:24 a.m., 3:28 a.m., 8 a.m., hours before shots fired. For knowledge, we need to subpoena the IPs. And because of that, let's play our intro music now then, because if we're just going to go full schizo, then why not? Why not? Dude, what's going on here? Where's our stuff? Where's our Schizo Watch? Let me add this in here again. Bear with the new tech, everyone. Bear with the new tech. Here we go. Okay. Bear with the new tech. We are one with the new tech. I was frustrated before, but now I have become one with the boomer tech. Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay. Now we have to fix the audio on this real quick. And let's do that. Okay, and now our intro to Schizo One. Excellent. Okay, so this is obviously, I don't know if it's schizophrenic or not, dude. It's definitely not okay to be posting this kind of stuff. This is, we don't have any evidence, but we live in a post-truth world in the sense of people don't care about presenting evidence or having anything out here. You know, Candace did it famously with Charlie Kirk. First, it was that country in the Middle East that killed him. Then it's the French government. Then it's the CIA. Then it's Donald Trump personally. People don't care about evidence anymore. And the thing is, we're going to look at what Lara Logan had to say about this, which was here. Let's make this big again. She said, the spike in searches of this person's name in the hours before the attack means the people who knew this was going to happen were searching to see if he had completed his task. A known CIA asset who was a trained member of a covert unit of assassins. Make no mistake, whether he came to the U.S. on an SIV visa or humanitarian parole, he has a sponsor or handler and a detailed dossier. They know exactly who he is. The question is, who was he working for on this operation? I'm going to defer to Candace Owens, dude. If we live in schizo world, I'm just going to wait for the Candace Owens video. Candace, please, I'm outsourcing my judgment to you because I don't trust Lara Logan as far as I can throw her. This woman has been off her rocker for the past 5 years. And at least Candace's shit, it may not be true, but it's entertaining.
It's 90% bullshit, but it's entertaining.
It's entertaining. And I don't know if this guy, I said it as a joke. I said, oh, maybe he's MK Ultra, you know. I don't even understand what people want to believe anymore, man, because it's like driving the country nuts. This is already being memory hold, and I don't even think that's a nefarious thing. I think they just don't want to talk about this anymore. How you doing, Full Hat? As an American citizen, I cannot see the public chat anymore. Just ask yourself, who are the true fascists? What do you mean the public chat? When you shut down somebody's voice or opinion just because you do not agree with it is the true definition of fascism, socialism, communism. Well, I think that autocracy in general, right? Yeah, I think that there's more to fascism, socialism, and all that. But yes, Full Hat, how are you doing, sir? How's Virginia? How was your Thanksgiving? So look, I'm going to defer to Candace Owens. I'm going to wait for Candace Owens to give us the real scoop on this. I don't trust Lara Logan at all with this. And let's move on because we have plenty more schizo to watch. Let's see here. The meeting of the minds here. We have Cenk Uygur, who we kind of like him on this show. I kind of like him.
That are left.
With his nephew, Hassan, who I kind of really don't like on this channel. And they're talking about Nick Fuentes, dude. So, by the way, this is, and we might end the show on this note too, looking at the Piers interview where he was discussing Nick Fuentes. He's now agreed to interview him. But he has fully crossed over, man, because now when we have Cenk, the uncle, bringing this into his nephew to talk about this, now they have to address Nick Fuentes. It's an interesting time to be alive, where now you could call it clout chasing, clickbaiting, but people have to talk about this. So let's see how it is. Let's get this real big here. We need the X closed. Bear with the new tech, everyone. Bear with the new tech. Let's see here. All right, let's watch what Cenk had to say to his nephew.
So now we're left with two guys that are left. Tucker Carlson, and yeah, I'm going to say the word or the name, Nick Fuentes. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I have
we have a new sound on the board. And let's start that over then. Is he going to say the word? Which word?
Say the N word. Go on.
Say the N word. I'm so glad we have it on the board. That's, I guess, Nick, that's the actual N word. Let's do our, say it, Cenk. Say the N word.
Say the N word. Go on.
So now we're left with two guys that are left. Tucker Carlson, and yeah, I'm going to say the word or the name, Nick Fuentes. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I have stopped censoring that Nick Fuentes mentioned since he's getting fucking profiled by the New York Times, you know?
Yeah. So Tucker Carlson, I think, has a shot at actually meaning it. And so I'm not sure that I agree with you.
You and I have had a private conversation about this many years ago, and I think I've been vindicated on this.
I think I've been vindicated on it, but we can have that conversation in a minute. So to now you go to, we'll come back to Tucker. You go to Fuentes, and so he seemed to be a classic guy who's, to be fair to him, not hiding his nationalism, right? So he was like, I'm going nationalist, I'm going Christian nationalist, white nationalist. It appeared to me, right? That was my original read of him. But now he's also changing. And so now I know we all cancel him to bejesus. And
I mean,
okay, Barry Weiss, if you're watching, which you obviously are,
Holocaust
right?
denier.
Right. So no problem. You deny the Holocaust, you say all these things. He's against race mixing. Well,
Yeah.
I'm married to an Asian woman. What am I going to agree with that? Right. So obviously we're against all that. But even now he has realized that's not actually where his audience is. So whether it's Craven,
I think he's a grifter. I think these guys are all grifters.
right? Whether it's Craven or not, whether they're grifters or not, even Fuentes is now saying, he said it just like 2 days ago, you know what? Maybe we put aside the racism and the cruelty and the abuse, right? Which is an amazing admission, by the way, that kind of is the direction they were going, right? And he says maybe we put that aside
I just don't
to be able to unite with the left.
I think that's really the most valuable thing we can get from here, man. And what's interesting here is we've seen it repeatedly as we've covered the rise of Nick Fuentes, a fellow Hispanic on this channel, where no one really knows how to deal with this guy. Like, look at Cenk, and he just betrayed Tucker Carlson, as we saw on Wednesday, and said that things that he doesn't want to be corralled. He does not want to be brought in to any particular side, as we speculated that he was trying to be brought in for the JD Vance run in 2028. But even the lefties, man, everyone's trying to get a piece of this guy, including Piers, which we're going to get into, which is pretty cool to see. But this is like a political grenade, and you could think this is all kayfabe or something, but it's starting to seem somewhat real. That I would sell, Nick coin if it were a coin right now. I don't think there's much more left for it to run. But I think it's going to be relevant for the foreseeable future as other political movements try to actually get. I don't know. Is it what I'm struggling to see is it the followers? What is the reason that everyone is trying to struggle to either wrangle Nick Fuentes in to use his followers, or to? I don't think Cenk genuinely thinks that they have more that they agree on than they disagree on, but we live in interesting times, folks. Interesting times, interesting coalitions. Hello, Curious Cat. How are you doing? Let's continue with Schizo Watch. What else we got? I thought this was a pretty pertinent news story. As I always tell you guys, and the reason we do this segment is so that you don't become a schizophrenic as well, as the whole world tries to drive you schizophrenic. I think this one's good here for any white viewers, man, because this will show you the truth about all of these hip white people are the greatest race edits that hit your timeline with regularity at this point.
Exile people, we will not be moved. Secure our borders.
Now, that right-wing slop may look cheap, but it's actually a very lucrative business. And the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, along with the Institute for Strategic Dialogue and the Times, has now traced some of the accounts publishing it back to a single wealthy influencer based in Sri Lanka. Geetha Suripura claims to have made $300,000 running Facebook pages that push racist, Islamophobic, and anti-migrant posts aimed at British audiences. In an interview, he told TBIJ that he targets old people because, quote, they're the ones who don't like immigrants. And he teaches others how to do the same. The UK isn't Suripura's only target, but it's certainly the easiest. The report goes on to say this. In a video reviewed by TBIJ, Suripura recommends that his students target the UK because audiences are highly engaged with political topics, particularly immigration, which he calls, quote, a strong trigger for engagement. The UK is an important audience, he says. They don't really like people from our countries living there, not just Sri Lankans, but even more so, Indians. Tapping into this market is easy, he claims. There's no need for complex video creation, and often a photo combined with emotionally charged music can be enough to attract attention and boost reach.
So I think that this would be good to show to anyone who flirts with the white nationalist persuasion on the channel in the audience, which is that you could be looking at some South Asian guys AI slop instead of the slop you thought it was. I mean, do you know if your white nationalist memes come from white nationalists or are they coming from India? there's really no way of knowing when you're on the receiving end. And I gotta say, this is a pretty good, in some ways, this racism is an interesting jobs program that's been created as ethnic and racial tensions have flared up in the West. It's a good jobs program for poor people in South Asia, I guess. It's a good idea to do that. Which is pretty cool, man. If you're an ambitious guy in South Asia, Hispanics should start doing this too. Start making racist AI slop. I'm sure people will eat it up. They'll eat it up because I don't think the Wignat, and we're going to see this with Piers and how he's defeated the internet this weekend, is too discerning about who makes his racist slop. How you doing? I hate everything. How was your Thanksgiving? It's going well, sir. It's going well. I could not get on yesterday, man. I had eaten too much gluten-free macaroni and cheese. So yeah, this is too much. Let's I guess we should watch. This is President Trump's explanation for if you wanted a president to drive down the schizoness, and I don't even blame Trump particularly for this, okay? But Trump is not the guy to do this. Let's see what his response was to this shooting with the National Guardsman. Let's see what he had to say.
U.S. officials say that the suspect worked very closely with the CIA in Afghanistan for years, that he was vetted, and the vetting came up clean.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other. And that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out.
I see. He went cuckoo. He was unvetted. He went cuckoo. And it happens a lot to these people, with these people. What does that mean? It happens a lot with these people. It happens too often with these people. Which people? I'm not even asking in a Joe Pesci racism way. Dude, these crypto scammers in here, I'm going to put you in timeout for 24 hours. Don't come back. How's New York? I hate everything. But this thing about what are these people? I don't think he means Afghans, because there hasn't been a huge wave of Afghan immigrants except, well, another Afghan guy shot someone, but that was a year ago. So is it a refugee thing? Is this like a Mario boat lift reference? But anyway, just saying that he went cuckoo, I guess that's what the court needs to hear too. He just went cuckoo. I'm sorry, he went cuckoo. That should be the defense. He went cuckoo. It happens a lot with his people. Let's watch here. I wanted to show this yesterday, but obviously Thanksgiving got the best of me. Let's see here. This is, and we're going to show something else. This is why I'm not a liberal. This is why I really, liberals I can stand more than conservatives, man. But liberals are just, they are so annoying. This is what liberal advice is on how to enjoy your meal at Thanksgiving.
Get that out of your mouth. No, we do not lick boots, Uncle Jim. You can have 5 minutes of Tucker Carlson after dinner, but then all done. Got it. No, it is not good for your brain. Remember that I told you Christy Gnome stories would give you nightmares? No, they are just pretend. Friend, that's just a costume. Just catch a bubble, okay? Just because somebody is playing pretend that they are a grown-up in charge does not mean that they are always going to make good choices or tell the truth. I know that is so hard. So let's just think in our brain, please. No, we're not going to say words from the TV. Oh dear. You are having some super, super big feelings about people that you have never met. It is okay to have big feelings. It is not okay to hurt people with them. Okay, sure, I will put your show on, but after 5 minutes, we are going to keep working on trying to have our own thoughts, okay?
Now look, she may be annoying. She may be wrong. I can't stand liberals because of this stuff, okay? But I gotta say, there is some love in the room here. Okay, which is that conservative. If you've met a conservative, I've met conservatives. I've been surrounded by conservatives my whole life. Especially nowadays, they are insufferable. And I'm not telling conservatives to tune out. Full Hat's a conservative, I think, or a constitutionalist. He's cool. But when you talk to a conservative will look you in the face and tell you that Thomas Jefferson is not racist, was not a racist. A conservative will make up history on the fly. Liberals might do it too, but when conservatives do it, it's very, very annoying. And I don't know if this works. I might try this on conservatives because maybe a lot of people were annoyed with this lady. We're going, this lady's annoying. This lady is not respectful of other people. Why would you talk to an adult this way? Well, if you've ever tried to talk to a conservative, if you ever tried to tell a conservative, hey man, you don't have to say that George Washington wasn't racist. He clearly was. You're allowed to like him in spite of that, or even because of that, if you're of that persuasion. They freak out. They don't get it. They go crazy. That's why the conservative ideology, man, I don't mind right wingers, but conservatives, I might try this strategy on a conservative. I might try to talk to them like a preschool teacher. Maybe it'll work. I Hate Everything says the NYC council is trying to give themselves, the mayor and others, a raise. I'm telling you, Leo, these politicians in NYC don't deserve it. I hope Mandami doesn't sign that bill, and a waste of taxpayer money. Why? What is even the excuse for that? Are they saying that they want to go full Singapore to prevent corruption? That's pretty crazy. It'd be interesting to see if if Brother Zoran taps into his African roots, his ANC roots, and he goes full Mandela and cuts his salary. And that would be the test of a real socialist. Let's see if he does it. That would be cool. It's nice to see why everything's saying that he shouldn't pass it, because you're not coping. He's in power, unlike some other people that are coping. So that's pretty good, man. I think he might veto it. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be popular to veto something like that. Do they deserve it or not in terms of the work they're doing, or to make them less corrupt? Because I doubt that it makes them less corrupt. So I'm with you. And I Hate Everything says, I have the opposite feeling between liberals and conservatives. Maybe it's just a state different. It could be, right? Because it depends on who you're dominated by. My producer who lives in California, he has it with the libs, where he's like, dude, these libs, I can't fucking stand these libs, He can't stand conservatives, but he can't stand libs. So I totally get it. Let's continue with Schizo. Let's skip this. Let's skip this. This is what I want to show you. For further evidence of why liberals are insufferable and liberals want to forget that this happened during the first Trump term. And I'm someone who was not a supporter. I did like the economy. By 2018, I had been like, hey, there's no new wars. The economy's cool. But I hadn't really warmed up in 2017. And I was looking at these liberals acting like insane people. And someone here is reminding them of how crazy they acted in that time period.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump said, "Quiet, piggy," to an American journalist. Well, guess what, Mr. President? This little piggy will not stay quiet. Oink, 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 oink. Well-behaved piggies rarely make pigstery. Pigs may live in houses of straw and wood, but you, sir, live in a White House made of lies. And also, you're also the big bad wolf, too. One nation under hog. We're gonna go ham in these streets, because in this country, piggy oinks back. Squeak! That's pig for Donald Trump is not a legitimate president. Check the link below to go to our store, where we're selling t-shirts that say, "Nevertheless, she oinked." And all proceeds will be going to a charity that will be discredited in about 2 years. Yesterday,
this guy got me to remember, dude, where did women get those "nevertheless she persisted"? I guess men too, tattoos removed from 2017? Because I don't see them much anymore. Did they put them somewhere super private? That was the most cringe thing besides the Pussy Hat March. I was in college at the time, and a professor missed class so she could march in the Pussy Parade in Washington, D.C. And it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous time in politics. But what's so infuriating is that liberals have just stopped doing anything at this point, where Trump can just do whatever he wants. The insanity of the country continues, but they played a big role in this, dude. Like this was an insane attitude they took. I'm very glad to see that someone still remembers it, because everyone's memory got hit with the Men in Black flash gun in 2020. Liberals did a lot of pathetic stuff, man, before 2020 in terms of their resistance to Trump. It was disgusting. And maybe that's why they're not doing it as hard, because they have shame. But I would please ask, You guys do something, because a lot of stuff's not getting better. I Hate Everything says their excuse is that they haven't gotten a raise since 2016, but with the job they've been doing, they don't deserve it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're already making more of their salary. Excuse me. Since 2016, 10 years with no raise. Is that indexed to inflation at all, or has it been the same salary? I think dude, if it's been 10 years, they're more likely to get it than not. But I get you, man. Damn, there's no way they're living off of that salary. You know, they have to have other sources of income. That's wild. What is the current salary? I Hate Everything. What is it? Or is it what, like $70,000? And I think finally here well, not finally, we have to get to two more things, but here we see on Schizo Watch. I've been against the TSA since I could remember. I've been against the Patriot Act. I've been against all of these institutions, man. All of them. And we have, obviously the TSA has made flying hell for a lot of people. It's gotten a little better. I will give Trump that. Kristi Noem, I like that you don't have to take your shoes off anymore. It's good. I've always been for eliminating it altogether, but whatever. I know that's fantasy land. But when I saw the head of the FAA here tell us how we can speed up travel, to me, this shows the insanity of how things work.
We've seen an uptick in maybe a degradation in civility in the airspace, and so I thought it is appropriate to. Again, you can't legislate that, right? You can't mandate it. But I think if you ask people, could we do better? Could we be better? I think you won't get a better result unless you make the ask. And so I'm just making the ask. Let's all travel better together. And again, I think it honors our country, it honors our families, it honors our fellow passengers. And so I've made the ask, and I think we can do a better job. And by the way, most flights are pretty darn good. And people do behave really well with one another. It's just a few of those times where, again, don't take your shoes off and put your feet on the chair ahead of you. That's just, or maybe don't play your movie without headphones on. There's some simple things that can annoy the folks around you. We don't have to do that. And so just be cognizant and courteous. That's the ask.
I didn't know that we were going to go back to the 1950s. And that's how we fix things. We fix things by going back to the 50s. I get it. People are going to, for some reason, suddenly start behaving in the sky. I thought the no-fly list existed so that people would wear their shoes on planes, would not attack staff. You know, if you attack staff, you don't get put on the no-fly list. I asked a flight attendant about it. And they told me, no, that's not how it works. To get put on the no-fly list, you have to do something else. I've been behaving at the airport for years out of fear. But most people, the reason they push the boundaries is because you don't actually get in trouble. I guess that's the point. What a wild, the disrespect that the Trump administration has for American citizens, man. Just to look you in the face and prescribe stupid solutions. It's really pull yourself up by your jockstrap solutions, man. The government can't do anything to make flying any better, even though they have a monopoly over it. It's up to you, fellow citizen. It's up to you, because we live in 1950s America. Everything says it's almost a 20% increase in their salary, $148,500. A salary of a council member, the mayor, makes $250,000. Well, but 20%, I know it sounds like a lot, but if they haven't got a raise in 10 years, in theory, I hate everything, that would make sense. That would make sense, because it's 10 years at 2%. Should actually be a little bit more, because it should be compounding. But it would make sense with the old. Let me close this here. What's going on here, man? How do we close this? Mute this. Mute notification. Here we go. All right. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that, 20% is pretty reasonable. But I understand your concerns. I mean, why would they need it? $148,000. I know that's not a lot in New York, but it is a lot. Good old big government. Absolutely. All right. Let's move on for Schizo and Watch. We're going to get here to Charlie Kirk, and then we have to get to Trump's Thanksgiving tweet, which is so insane, man. It's crazy. So let's look at the latest Kirk slop. Erica Kirk said, even in the depths of pain and heartache of trails, there's always something to be thankful for. Please love your family so deeply today and always. If you don't have family, then your chosen family, your friends, your loved ones. Life is so precious. Life is short. And here she's quote tweeting Charlie Kirk's old tweet from last year about Charlie Kirk, about his family. This evil bitch. Dude, I'm so glad I called this bitch out immediately. This evil bitch. Why don't you go spend it? And all she gets is hate at this point. Thank God more people are starting to see this evil woman. And people are finally, libs were the only ones doing it at first. They're starting to make fun. Look at this. This is great stuff. This is Charlie Kirk as Robert Downey Jr. Erica Kirk, Thanksgiving to JD Vance. Perfect. Absolutely. Thank you. Deserves ridicule. Deserves scorn. It's about damn time. Let's continue. Let's see some more Kirk slop. This is one of my favorite genres, dude. I love the Kirk slop. Kirk hasn't been gone for a year yet, but for every George Floyd meme, there are 3 Charlie Kirk memes. And here we have him as Kevin Gates, a cappella singing. Look at this. This is great stuff.
But it's still gonna hurt. Beefing with my chick while I'm in jail. Trying not to click off on restriction. Can't make bail. My Isaac Coleman all the spell. I ain't called in a minute. Ain't balled in a minute. Can't wait to see them stars in the ceiling. Free all of my hill. But it's still.
The technology, I feel like these Charlie Kirk memes are actually pushing AI forward more than Sam Altman. People's desire to allow Kirk to escape death, to beat death. Maybe we've really learned some more through these experiments. And finally, we have this one here. This one's great.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, we're going to get there 20 minutes early.
We are Charlie.
How are they doing this? How are they doing this? I'm really curious. And there's a lot of love in these, as I always say. Great stuff. I had everything says Trump said the R word. We are so back to early COD lobbies. Where did he say it? Please send the link, sir. All right, we have to get big now because we're done with Schizo Watch. So let's play us out here. All right, so we have to get to Donald Trump. All right, and I actually made a new title card today because this tweet here, which we're going to read the whole thing. I'll read this for you. I couldn't read it when he first put it. This was our Thanksgiving address from Donald Trump, okay? Abraham Lincoln had his, and Donald Trump had this one. There are no paragraph breaks. It's insanity. And at this point, dude, I'm not doing it in a glib way of saying, oh, Trump is literally mustache man. But these are tweets from the fucking bunker, dude. From the bunker. This is the painter, the German painter in the bunker yelling at people. So there's a new title card. If you know any other leader that has ended up like this, we can change it to that. But the German guy is the one I think of when I think of someone writing schizo rants here. In the middle of let's watch.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
I'll kiss every guy, man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is. They're remaking Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. You can't do that. And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on? I call it the N-word. There are 2 N-words, and you can't use either of them.
So let's go through this. Before that, I think it'd be prudent to actually see some of Trump's old other insane tweets, because I've always been critical of these insane tweets our president puts out, man. Let me change this over here right here. So here we have, in case you don't remember, ASAP Rocky released from prison and on his way home to the United States from Sweden. It was a rocky week. Get home ASAP, ASAP. This was funny at the time, but now given what he's writing, it's not even funny anymore. I'm sure you remember these. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order, and our great men and women in blue. Remember this one, law and order? He was just tweeting this shit while the country was burning down. He was the one, he was the president, and the country was being burned down, and he was tweeting law and order. What else was he doing? This one's recent. Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. How is this not literally a message that Hitler would not be giving in the bunker? This is where Goebbels looks over at Bormann and this guy's lost his mind a little bit. This is a little nuts. What other insane tweets? Remember this? Liberate Minnesota, liberate Michigan, liberate Virginia, and save our great Second Amendment. It's under siege. What was Trump trying to get us to do? Were we supposed to go and fight the Michigan National Guard or the Virginia National Guard? This was during COVID. It's just his tweet, but they get worse. And that's the one we have to look at today, dude, because these tweets from the bunker, man, these are bad tweets. We're going to read this whole thing. Before that, I had everything says, he called Tim Walz the R word. I'm going to look that up. I think this is the post where he attacks. Oh, yes. Yes. This is so long and poorly structured that I can't even remember half of it. I'm going to read this. This is like a Jack Kerouac post. It's like a stream of consciousness post. But Leo, he brought back Rush Hour. Yeah. We'll see if he brings back Rush Hour. What are we on? Rush Hour 5? Rush Hour 3 was pretty good. That's the one in Paris. I like the Rush Hour movies. So if Trump gets us Rush Hour, at least that'd be interesting. Let's read the Thanksgiving address from our president. I saw this and oh, wow. Okay. Put this down. I can't read this. Let's do this here. I'm going to highlight. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all. Let me see if I can do this one here and you guys can see it. Yeah, let's read it like this. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. That's all one sentence. This is one sentence. I'm going to read that again because I'm confused as to what he's saying. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. I don't know what he just, I have no idea what that sentence means. You could study this at the English language department at Oxford, and it would take you a couple years to pull the meaning out of this. Let's continue. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, census, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. That's another sentence. All right, that one I understand. It's a descriptor of the foreign population. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 a year in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Parentheses, failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, and large deficits, etc. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey, as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing. Either through fear, incompetence, or both. While the worst congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the USA illegally, in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated, when her place of origins is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation. How is this one sentence, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc.? Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. Terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe's Otto Penn, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, and all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Is he doing the preamble? And deport any foreign national who is a public charge security risk or non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. He's lost his mind. He's lost his mind. This is insane. This is an insane tweet. There were parts that were funny at moments. I'm not one of these guys that won't say he's funny. This is insane. We have a madman as the president. He's the Jack Kerouac of tweeters. There's how many I'm going to send this to ChatGPT right now. Let's ask ChatGPT how many sentences there are in this, because this is crazy. This is so much. He has a talent for it. How many sentences are in this tweet? "17 sentences in one tweet, man. What is up with this guy? 17 sentences. I'm trying to eat turkey, and the president is out here giving us Jack Kerouac, Hitler in the bunker tweets. Jeez, dude. I Hate Everything says, Trump is chronically online. This would have been better in a speech. Do you think that? I'm not sure, man. Dude, this is a stream of consciousness. There's so many things you can pick out here. Congressman/woman. The retarded statement, obviously. Roving the streets looking for prey. White people are prey now. How you doing, Audio Vibes? Other than that, happy Thanksgiving. This is old man yells at sky, dude. I think his age is finally caught up with him. It has to be, right? Because he wasn't this. He was always funny. But to make an announcement like this of negating everything in the auto pen in a tweet on Thanksgiving, you know? Swaddling hijab? That sounds sensual. It sounds sexy. I don't even know with a swaddling hijab. And what's great is that someone quote tweeted this. Let's make this insane tweet big, dude. Dude, on this monitor, this tweet is longer than, you can't see this. My hand is like 3/4 of this, and it's not even, you're not even scroll all the way down. This is wild. And someone quote tweeted this, and they said it like it was a known, but I think that this is actually like one of the few times that Trump has been honest recently. Let's watch here.
It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least. All the illegals, they still think we're stuck with them. No. You're about to be stuck in here with us. Clock is ticking. Could be a soft tick, could be a loud one, hard to say. A word of advice, though, I'd scram if I were you. Skedaddle. Vamoose, leave while you still can. Alligator Alcatraz is just the beginning. Next up is Shark Shawshank. Sharks, very dangerous, not the most reasonable of beasts. Some of you have seen the Discovery Channel and know what I'm talking about. Shark Week, very exciting. We'll live stream escape attempts, justice and economic stimulus in one. Rikers with grizzly bears is an option as well. We could use a snappier name, but the concept is strong to very strong in a big way, quite frankly.
I can't tell if this is AI. I can't. Or if it's just sped up. But what I liked a lot here is this moment here in the beginning.
It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least. All the illegals, they still think we're stuck with them. No. You're about to be stuck in here with us.
This is true at this point, dude, because when you contrast, this is what the president is tweeting. He's tweeting diatribes here. The illegal immigrants, the illegal immigrants now are stuck in here with Americans. It's not the other way around. I bet you if I went up to some fruit picking Hispanic like myself, it's not a citizen, an illegal, and I told them, hey man, I'll help you get out. I'll get you a plane ticket. He might take me up on it. But knowing that the president is releasing statements like this, you're dealing with a madman. The country's run by a madman. If you go to get a plane ticket, because they keep saying they'll pay for your plane ticket, how the guy who writes this might just kill me instead of, they're stuck in here now, dude. The illegals are stuck in the U.S. now. If I were illegal in the U.S., I would not feel comfortable turning myself over because the president, who sets the tone for everything, is out here tweeting schizo rants, dude. Swaddling hijab. He's calling a sitting governor retarded. What's he gonna call me? I'm an illegal. You know? This is the most honest I've seen Trump, dude. I love this statement. The illegals are stuck in here with the Americans, dude. It's not the other way around.
It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least. All the illegals, they still think we're stuck with them. No. You're about to be stuck in here with us.
Ezra Pound said it, dude, and it's never been more true. This country is an insane asylum. It's an insane asylum. So I think there's going to be a recurring segment, man, because he just tweets the craziest shit. And we have to start looking at this historically. Look how long this tweet is. I haven't even seen this one. The United States did not attend the G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants. When did he tweet? He tweeted this today. It's Black Friday. All right, that's for tweets from the bunker, dude.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
I'll kiss every guy, man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is. They're remaking Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. You can't do that. And now they're making Ghostbusters with only women. What's going on? I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them.
All right, and now we have to get to Piers Watch, dude, which is going to start on Twitter, but it'll lead us to YouTube, so we got to play that title card.
Hang on. No, sorry. I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much. Say the N-word. Go on.
So Piers Morgan has won the internet this week, dude, which I was very glad to see. I'm very happy to see Piers on the up and up. As you know, we honor Piers Morgan, the great wizard, the great sorcerer on this channel. Last we had checked in, he had done an interview with Tucker Carlson where they were saying the F word. And I don't think they got to say the N word, but they talked about the N word as Piers likes to do. He wrote a whole article about it.
Say the N word. Go on.
So what happened is, it's pretty interesting what happened here, man. Where this interview came out, and in it, we're going to show you what happened. But Piers, firstly, let's show you how Piers was praised by Tucker Carlson in the interview. Because the interview went well. It went well.
Piers Morgan has single-handedly done more for free speech, which is disappearing in Great Britain, than any other Briton. He has done more for free speech than any other person in this entire country. Just want to say this out loud because it's absolutely true. And he's done it the old-fashioned way by allowing other people onto his platform, onto his show, to debate. People who have no other venue to say what they think. And you may disagree with 50% and agree with the other 50%. It doesn't even matter. That debate, the real debate about issues that really matter, that nobody else in this country is allowed to talk about, are taking place at scale on Piers Morgan's show. So if you watch this and you think Piers Morgan has no idea what side is up, why is he defending the indefensible? Keep in mind that here, and this is an authoritarian country where disagreement is no longer allowed, you go to jail for it. By the thousands, people go to jail for it every year. He alone is keeping it open. So God bless Piers Morgan.
So this was the opening. We didn't watch it that Tucker gave Piers. And it's a good opening. It's very nice, you know? So you would think that things are going well. You know, things are going well. Especially look at what Piers was doing over Thanksgiving. Look at what he was doing. Look at this new little game. I might get it. If the master himself plays this, I might get it myself.
Oh! Come on! Come on! Ooh! Come on. Boggs Bollen, I can personally testify, having just lost to my son, this is going to be the best family Christmas present you could get. But don't let your kids win. Never lose to your children. Oh!
2, 1.
So Piers is having a great Thanksgiving over in England. This interview's just come out. It's done great. He's playing with the box ballin'. I might pick one of these up. It's kind of cool, huh? If it's good enough for Piers, it's good enough for me. But what happens? What happens? Also, before we get to that, he formally invited Nick Fuentes onto his show, which we have predicted for weeks here.
It's been difficult to avoid the subject of Nick Fuentes lately. We've quite rightly debated his growing influence and the resulting schisms in the MAGA world. It's now been brought to my attention this has annoyed Nick Fuentes.
Piers Morgan, how many shows is he going to do about me but not have me on the show?
Okay, fair enough. Maybe it is time we had a chat. So give me a call or a direct message if that's your thing, and we'll do the interview, Nick Fuentes. And let's see how you get on.
So Piers is, I wonder if he's going to get Nick to say the N-word on there.
Say the N-word, go on.
Piers is having a good Thanksgiving. But in the Tucker interview, what did Piers say? Why did he make everyone so angry? Why did he take over the internet? What did he say? What did he say? Well, let's see here, because immediately the white nationalist types in England started to react to it. Everything says, stop glazing me, Tucker, Piers Morgan. Right? It's a very nice high praise he gave him. Let's see what the white nationalists had to say about this segment in the Tucker interview.
British culture didn't you like and has been improved by new cultures?
Oh, well,
tell me, what didn't you like before? What are you glad is gone from the Britain you grew up in?
Let me tell you, if you came to London in the 50s and 60s, the food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when I was
Inedible.
here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
Amazing.
Insane. That is the argument used. Why should we flood our country with other people? Well, chicken curry. Thousands of young girls get raped. Chicken.
Look, it's not a great argument, but Piers is a sensible centrist. All right, Piers has been pretty good on this stuff. And I'm glad anyone that is a recent immigrant or son of a recent immigrant in these countries, man, or daughter, you should be glad, because the day that Piers says that we need to remigrate and stuff, you need to start packing your bags, as I've said, because Piers is the last line of defense. Piers has been right about everything. He's always ahead of the trend. He was against the Iraq War. He knew Trump was going to win in 16. He knew he was going to lose in 20, and he knew he was going to win in 2024. So he's always ahead of the trend. If he starts saying that we need to get deported, pack your bags, dude, even if you're born here. I know everything says the food is still pretty crap from what I've seen on Insta. Yeah, I think London in particular might have good food, but I think that I've never been to England. I got to check it out. I got to find out for myself. But who knew that Piers's praise, a wizard enjoys a nice chicken curry, a nice tikka masala, inspired the wrath of every wignat online. And look, I get it. Some people don't like immigrants. Some people don't like immigration. Why would Piers get you so mad? Piers isn't even a politician. Piers is a media guy. Why are you picking a fight with Piers? Given that he is a master as well, because he came out on top here. So let's continue with the Wignat video.
Curry. And I know this might shock a lot of people. You're going to want to be prepared for this. But me, as an Irishman, I have made pasta before. I know. Crazy. I'm not Italian, but I know how to make pasta. And even crazier is I have made chicken curry before. Crazy. Absolutely shocking stuff. You don't need a million Pakistanis in your country to enjoy a kebab. I know this thinking might be crazy to people like Piers Morgan, but I would eat potatoes for the rest of my life if it meant my country, Ireland, was always home to Irish people, that it was full of my own people. I don't want Ireland full of Nigerians, Indians, Pakistanis. I don't want Ireland to resemble England, for England to resemble Germany, Germany to resemble Belgium, for all the natives to be replaced in the name of chicken curry and a kebab shop on every corner. I have no intention of seeing that happen in my lifetime. Ireland should be full of Irish people. And if your excuse to change that is you like a kebab every Saturday, well, to me, that's not a good enough reason.
So this is just petty nationalism, bourgeois petty nationalism.
Hang on.
Sorry about that. This is just bourgeois petty nationalism, right?
Saturday.
Which is fine. It's fine. I'm not a petty nationalist. I don't think Ireland is going to remain. I don't feel that Ireland. I used to think this way, that Ireland should be Irish, right? That's a very shallow way of thinking about things. I'm not advocating that people are changed out for others, but it's very shallow, and petty nationalism has always struck me in a strange way where, you know, it's not based on ethnicity. It's not based on anything that can be real. It's based on nation states, you know. I'm not sure if that's a liberal concept, especially given for this type of person, who I can assume is one of these more wingnatty types. But furthermore, what I would say is that Piers Morgan, or Piers Morgan as he's saying, was talking about England. And if you're Irish, unless I don't know, I've been under a rock for the past 20 years, and I've seen people make this accusation. Piers is Irish. Don't you want England to be destroyed? I thought that that's what Irish people wanted, you know? So it's interesting. How you doing, Ephra? Okay, so maybe, just maybe, I might be part Irish. I don't know, but there's many people with red hair, green eyes in my family, but I don't give a F what Irish or English think. This is America. That's true, but I guess this guy is actually Irish, Ephra. How you doing, Ephra? How was your Thanksgiving? But why is he... Dude, I mean, I get it. You know, you're frustrated with immigration and all that. Piers Morgan is talking about England. I thought a real Irish lad, wouldn't he be happy that England is getting destroyed? You know, I don't know. I thought that's what Irish people wanted. You know, come out, ye black and tans. You know, but so what did Piers respond? Let's see what Piers responded. Dude, this guy's the greatest I'll ever do it. There are a lot of white English people I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. Look at this man, dude. Look at Piers. Look at Piers. There are a lot of white English people I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. And he's Irish, right? Piers is Irish. He's not English. He's Catholic. And these replies, here come all the replies. Right, because you're a traitor. We have the recipes. Their food is so yummy.
It's a faggot.
Would you
faggot?
They're using his own interview against him. You value your appetite about loyalty to your people. This is the guy building that white community. Piers Morgan, disgusting way to speak about a people that welcomed your family, and it's not your country to give away. O'Meara. Dude, I'm sorry. England grapes Ireland for 1,000 years and lets one guy in, and he's supposed to get over that. So look, I don't know if Piers is a secret Irish nationalist or something, but he came out on top here. But it did not stop. It did not stop. Let's continue. Tommy Robinson, Pete Grifter had to get involved. What else could we expect? So this guy here, Michael McCarthy, is the guy who made this video. Gets quote tweeted by Tommy Robinson. Once Tommy Robinson gets involved, you're fucked. Your movement is been usurped by a retard. Here he comes in. We won't be replaced by the third world so you can eat out, you fat mess, at Piers Morgan. And he posts Piers here with Buckingham Palace in flames, eating what I assume is tikka masala. Now, if you're Tommy Robinson, and I see I had everything said this, blame the Irish government. Why are you mad at Piers Morgan? He's just a wizard trying to live. Why would you put this in the background in his ideology? I'm not advocating it as a bad thing. Don't you hate the English government? This doesn't make sense. If you hate the English government, why would you be saddened to see it in flames? I'm confused. And okay, so Piers is fat. All right, Tommy, you've been to jail. How about that? You're such a let's see how Piers got him back here. You're such a Billy Big Balls on here. I hadn't heard this one before. I'm incorporating this. Look at this alliteration. You think that's random? But still don't have the balls to come on my show. Why are you such a coward? Why are you such a coward? And if Tommy Robinson goes on this show, it's going to be great to see. It did not end here. Here's Tommy Robinson again. Let's make this big. The vile mug at Piers Morgan, who framed our soldiers and hacked a dead kid's phone, may think I'm a, quote, little shit, end quote, because I exposed the grape jihad of Britain's children. He thinks they're grape torture, even murder is permissible because, quote, McCurry, end quote. Call me what you like. I'll fight for the nation's children and future until my last breath. Episode 6 of my Grape of Britain series coming soon. If you are watching Grape of Britain and you love England and British people, you are a sadomasochist. How can anyone follow this dude? Oh, yes, I want to go see how we're losing. Let me go watch the documentary Grape of Britain. Oh, this is perfect. What the fuck are we doing? Furthermore, Piers Morgan did not frame the soldiers, okay? He probably was a little too Baudrillardian with some pictures and had them edited a bit. But he was kind of duped, okay? This is old news. This is a cheap insult and hacked a dead kid's phone. It was not shown in a court of law. And he sues people who say it. So let's watch here this trailer that he had to make sure to plug for the grape of Britain.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
The Taken monologue with the Charlie Day conspiracy map. How can you take this seriously? How can you take this seriously?
Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I will look for you. I will find you.
And look at this dude. Fucking Johnny Cash. I actually like Johnny Cash. This country music mind virus has invaded the world, man. It's impossible now. It's impossible. Even the British nationalists are playing Johnny Cash. And this is slop. How do you not see Tommy Robinson is just slop? Piers nailed this guy from day one. It's slop. It's Liam Neeson. It's conspiracy. He might as well tell you about fucking chemtrails. Slop, slop, slop. And with Johnny Cash in the background. I love Johnny Cash. I like Johnny Cash. But what is a British nationalist doing with Johnny Cash? 1KYAE, shout out to Lindy, man. 1,000 Year American Empire, dude. Even the British nationalists can't think of a good British song. Let's catch up with the chats before we continue this trailer. Ephra says, a world without diversity would be a boring world. I remember some guy who took lots of photographs of many remaining tribes from around the world. It made me sad because many interesting cultures got erased by corporatism. That is the only thing I would criticize globalization. It erased many interesting cultures and lifestyles. I completely agree, Ephra. The only thing is, I think that that's where we were headed from the start. So I used to lament that a lot, especially as someone who's a huge fan of like anthropology. You know, I love reading old Humboldt books and stuff. But you know, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. We were always gonna go down this path, you know. But I agree with you. It's hard to travel now for me as someone who always wanted to go see things that are different because everything's so the same, you know. I feel like I have to go to North Korea or Eritrea to go somewhere different, you know, somewhere that's really close. Aria, how are you doing? I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. I know you were excited, but we got caught up in the Thanksgiving. I love Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash is the only country music I like. How was your Thanksgiving?
There's a man going around taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same.
This song is about a hitman. It's about a hitman in the Old West. Maybe it's open to interpretation. Tommy Robinson is hyping himself up as a hitman.
There'll be a golden ladder reaching down. When the angels sing and voices crying.
Listen, simple question then, Dave. Did you rape her after Ahmed Nawaz raped her? No, sir.
Over 200 men's names were identified by your police investigation, but only 11 were charged. Why is that?
I've got to put some allegations to you that you've been raping young girls in restaurants, but get the fuck out of here.
Why would I have young girls that named you as raping young children? I have multiple young girls, school children on camera.
Having them trafficked
and in their prostitution.
Well, can we talk? I've got some questions. We have accusations that you trafficked young children. You trafficked young children. You were the kingpin. You chose who they were raped by.
In with your best friend Imran.
Dude, I'm sure that this happens. I'm sure there is rape of children in England. I'm sure this happens and I'll even say by these Muslim or Pakistani gangs, you know, like I'm sure this happens. I'm sure it's real. I don't think that this yields any results that are genuinely useful to anyone. I'm sure this happens, dude. But I don't think that this is... don't you get... This is kind of like James O'Keefe. Whenever I watch a James O'Keefe video, I feel weird afterwards. Yeah, this is weird. Like, I don't understand how this is useful to the victim. If the perpetrator's not being pursued by the law, then that's the law. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but why wouldn't you just leave or try to run for office? No, but it's better to make a documentary called The Rape of Britain and have people pay you for it on Rumble. That's how we're going to. So Piers is going to body this retard because that's what he is. He's a retard. He's a thug. Sorry, if you don't remember, this is the tweet. Let's go back here. Let's see what Piers said. Hi, bottle job. I didn't hack a dead girl's phone. That was another newspaper. Piers went to court for that. All right. So delete this defamatory lie or you'll be back in court again. Oh, and when you grow up here, come on Uncensored and we can discuss everything properly. My man does not miss, dude. He doesn't miss. I told you he's the wizard. I will sue you, but get your ass on my show, man. It'll do numbers. That's why we love Piers. What a genius. What a genius. What a genius. Oh my God. What a genius. The greatest. Let's catch up with the chats before we move on. Dude, this is, not move on. We have more. This is crazy. Arya says, Thanksgiving was great with my parents and my daughter. I hope yours was good, King Leo. It's okay you weren't on. I figured you were having too good a time, and I'm happy about that. Yes, it was fun because I helped make some gluten-free macaroni and cheese. I hadn't had macaroni and cheese in so long. I was like, this is so good, so I ate too much of that. Andrew, how you doing? Long time no see. Anytime I see these pedo chaser types, I know they are actually pedo, like the dude who caught EDP. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised, right? Because it's a little odd to have that as a hobby. You're either a grifter or really overzealous, and that's probably less than 1%, or you're projecting. So I understand, Andrew. Arya says, Johnny Cash is the only country music I like, except I like Juice Newton too. If that is country music, and Brenda Carlise, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to check that out. I like some of that. I just don't like the modern stuff. They kept playing this stupid ad, dude, because people were watching the NFL yesterday. It was with that Beyonce. This ain't Texas. And I wanted to swallow a cyanide pill. I hate this modern stuff. Kidding. About the cyanide pill. Arya says, Full Hell likes Rumble. Says nothing wrong with Rumble. I like Rumble too, Arya. It's fine. It's just Rumble has a certain, I like their UI. I think it's actually well done. Let's continue. I know everything says Piers brings Tommy and Nick. All right. I hope so. And here, Tommy tweeted, is this the future you want? No. Is this the future you want for your children? And he put this here. So let's see what very scary thing Tommy put on.
Assalamu alaikum. You're invited to Edu Academy's open day.
Parents can enjoy a special tour of our classrooms.
You'll get to meet our lovely teachers and see how we learn.
You'll meet students like me.
We will have lots of fun stalls. There will be yummy food.
Bring all your families and friends. We can't wait to welcome you. Assalamu.
I guess the only objection is the Assalamu alaikum. I don't know if this is a Muslim school. I guess you could object to that if you're like, there should be no Muslim schools in England. But it's just an Arabic greeting, right? But what did Piers do? The brave centrist we love on this channel. Convicted thug and fraudster encourages hate on innocent young school children because of their skin color. Repulsive, with the British spelling for cooler. I really hope that he gets him on the show. So Piers won Thanksgiving, dude. And that's the conclusion here with this. We're not done yet because I have big news. All right. Because you're not gonna even know what comes out on Sunday. But we haven't ended Piers watch, so you have a clue. What is coming? Fuck it, dude. Let's not even catch up with the chats because you're gonna love this. I can't wait. It's gonna be Piers week next week, like Shark Week. I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna play it.
Am I carrying? The wokies are around me.
Stop
Address their emotions
talking,
in a
Parker.
positive way is
Parker.
literally participation
No wonder
trophies not
Jordan
being
Peterson
there.
found you so annoying. Look,
Have you been on your own show?
Parker.
You interrupted me the whole time, and now you're just getting the same thing.
So me telling you that you are spreading misinformation, that is not fascism. That is just me telling you you're wrong.
But you're not telling me I'm wrong because I'm right. My first surrounded claim is that masculinity has never been toxic. My next surrounded claim is that woke ideology is anti-liberal and fascistic. My next surrounded claim is that gender-neutral pronouns are pointless. My final surrounded claim is that cancel culture is real and a serious threat to free speech. Hi, I'm Piers Morgan, and I'm the host of Piers Morgan Uncensored on YouTube. I'm also the author of a new book, Woke is Dead, and today I'm surrounded by 20 apparently still alive woke liberals.
I guess I love Jubilee now. I guess all that shit I talked, I guess I was talking shit because the king himself is going on. What? You know we're going to watch this whole thing, right? We're going to watch this whole thing on Monday, dude. Look at his claims. Cancel culture is real and a serious threat to free speech. Gender-neutral pronouns are pointless. Woke ideology is anti-liberal and fascistic. And masculinity has never been toxic. Dude, it's like we're debating 2016 all over again. I love it. 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 How can I not love it? This is so good. I guess I like Jubilee now, dude. I guess I like Jubilee. Come on, dude. I did not expect Piers to have such a great week and then to end up on Jubilee. We are being blessed this holiday season. Let's catch up with the chat. Arya says, I don't know about Rumble, except I looked up Fohat after he said he was going to deport us all, and he's all over. What? That's crazy. He did say he was going to deport. That was pretty funny. Andrew said he was sending actual nudes of a minor to catch the AP wild situation. What? That's crazy. Yeah, I only have these, officer, to catch people. You know that. Ephra says, I like almost everything from Thanksgiving dinner except the turkey. I don't know. Chicken is way better. I had a fried turkey. I didn't eat much of the turkey, though. I ate the wing. And it's all right. I'm not a huge turkey fan either. It's very hard to make good turkey. Does anyone excel at turkey? Any culture makes the best turkey or something? Because turkey ham is good, but turkey the bird is just a pain. I ate everything agrees. Turkey is the worst bird to cook. I agree. Ephra says, yeah, same for dinner. Oh, yeah. All right. I see some talking amongst themselves. Ephra says, I thought woke was dead. Well, woke was dead, but you know Piers needs to come in with that coup de grace and just, bam, woke, you're done now. Go up to woke like,
say the N word. Go on.
Bam! You know, just bam! There we go. Let's go. I had everything says, it's not like how they used to do it back in my day. They forced my ancestors to be Catholic by the command of my other ancestors. Yeah. Things have changed. It's all about the nudge now. About to rage bait 20 people. Hold on. Hang on for 20 people. This is going to be a masterclass in rage bait. I completely agree. It's such a good time. I think it's pertinent to bring up, I guess Piers Watch is kind of over, but we're going to revisit him. So let's play our title card now.
Hang on. No, sorry. I hear you and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much. Say the N word. Go on.
So I had this ready here earlier in the week, which is that Tim Miller went on Jubilee. And as you guys know, I hate Tim Miller. I have talked shit about this guy a lot. And I wanted to show you how this pathetic, disgusting, never Trump, and you guys know I'm not a Trump fan, but these never Trump guys, I hate them even more than my dislike for this type of person. I said they're the original jihadists. These are jihadists, dude, never Trumpers. Look at this pathetic man. We're not going to watch much of it. Just look at how disgusting this dude is, man. Like, this grift is something to admire. And they had to bring in Piers after this terrible, terrible appearance by Tim Miller.
I'd like to address the fascism claim that you made, specifically the fascism, because we've seen even, for example, Charlie Kirk last month was shot and killed. And so what happens when we use inflammatory flames like fascist, it paints people a certain way.
I hear you, Noel, but here's the thing. If they don't want to be called a fascist...
That's like me saying if you want lax border policies, then you're an anarchist. It's a false equivalency. It doesn't add up.
Left,
someone can...
Listen, this woman actually, and you guys know I hate Jubilee and you know I hate debate. She's saying something which is true, which is something that we have forgotten. And that's one of the reasons that hell has gotten worse, okay? Do we have these in here?
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
We do have them here. Excellent. Words have a meaning. People forget that words have meaning. And when you call someone a fascist, she is correct. You will incite violence, whether they're a fascist or not. And I am all for giving words real meaning, but I just don't think that that's possible anymore. But she's speaking to the Saeed Qutb, the founder of jihadism, of American politics, which is the never Trumper. The psychology of the never Trumper is that of a jihadist. He must eliminate Trump and Trump supporters. Because otherwise, why would they be called never Trump? Never Trump is a very powerful word, dude, because it means never under no circumstances. That's what never means. And that means implicitly by any means necessary. This is a terrorist who's talking here. Tim Miller is someone of a jihadi and terrorist persuasion, in my view, like all never Trumpers. David Frum as well. Why would you say never Trump unless you're willing to destroy everything around yourself and others in order to get rid of him? And that's why her argument falls flat. You know, I hate debate, but this was an interesting moment where this young lady here is saying something which is true. Why would we use language inappropriately? It could lead to real world action. But you can't argue with Saeed Qutb. You can't argue with Osama bin Laden about this stuff. You can't. Because they are masters of language themselves.
The communists and enemy within all the time.
Because we do this, then that
I'm just saying,
justifies it. That's not
look,
okay.
if they don't want to be called fascists, they shouldn't act like fascists. I just think that if this was not this country...
If you don't want them to be called kafir, you do not be a kafir. That is literally what we're arguing here. And you guys know I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about jihadists, which is different. If you don't know that, then grow up and learn the difference. It's been a whole election cycle of me talking about this, dude, with Zoran. Learn the difference between a jihadist, an Islamist, a Muslim. Like, learn the difference.
You saw unmarked cars with mass people hassling and all. Look at the story of Narciso Barranco. He's gardening outside an IHOP. A bunch of masked agents come out. He's an old man. A bunch of masked agents come out, hassle him, tackle him to the ground.
Look at this pathetic man. Look at the bad hair dye job, bad skin, ugly. The flannel's not that bad. Ugly t-shirt. Just an ugly guy. I think that Dr. Seuss thing is true, man. When you have ugly thoughts, you become an ugly person, just an ugly guy. And everything brings up a good point. What is Tim Miller's excuse to go back to the Bush days? Right, because if we're going to talk about a fascistic period in American history, okay, the current one, I hate this word, dude, but we're going to talk about a authoritarian, not totalitarian, because it's always totalitarian under democracy, authoritarian. It's probably the Bush years, the first to come to mind in the 21st century, followed by this very recent Trump stuff, you know? And Obama to an extent, but it's the Bush years. It's the unitary executive theory being used to launch 3 wars, you know? And this, I'm not Tucker Carlson, dude. We need a Tucker Carlson one. This guy, this disgusting, lower than scum guy, is arguing for what? Like literally what you're saying, dude. Go back to Bush. That's when things were good. When we had 9/11. That's when things weren't fascistic. The Patriot Act. Thank you, Tim Miller.
But he's got 3 kids who are in the Marines.
In a fascist.
Why would we do this? That's obviously fascist. How would you describe it?
I'm not saying that's okay. What I'm saying is that in a fascist country, and yes, I would say that's not treating someone with human dignity. And I believe that everyone is worthy of human dignity. But what I am saying is that in a fascist,
to a gulag in El Salvador.
Could I finish? In a fascist country,
sending someone to a gulag in El Salvador. Tim Miller, you were in the Bush administration. You supported that. You are responsible for Guantanamo, for extraordinary rendition, for fucking Abu Ghraib. Who is this person to talk to anyone? This is not a wizard. This is terrible, man. Who can fall for this, dude? Who can fall for Tim Miller's bad spell? He needs some lessons from the master. From Tucker. Dude, Tucker is a guy who has been wrong about everything. Tucker supported the Iraq war. He supported the COVID lockdowns. A lot of people forget that. He's the one who convinced Trump to shut down the world economy and print a bunch of money. Tucker has been wrong about most things, but he does some great magic and people still love him. Tim Miller can't do that.
Political dissent is repressed, so all of the media is controlled by the government. So we still, even though there's polarizing rhetoric, we still have ways for people to express their opinion. We still have ways for people to appeal to civil systems, and they can still appeal for mistreatment by ICE agents. And so I think that's super important, because when we're calling people fascist blatantly, that's what fuels political violence. That's what causes people like Charlie Kirk to be killed, because we're calling people Nazis.
She's actually completely right. Tim Miller fired the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk 10 years ago. I said it when it happened. I said it on stream. The Never Trump movement is responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. That's who's responsible for it. It's not Tyler Robinson. I mean, sure, he's somewhat responsible. The ideology responsible for this is the Never Trump ideology, which is not a liberal ideology. It is a neoconservative ideology. This was the first Jubilee clip where I saw, look, I'm obviously reading into it, right? These people are not the smartest. Look, you're sophisticated guys and gals here. These people are not the smartest knives in the shelf, okay? They're not. This is water under the bridge, you know. These people are not the sharpest tool in the shed. But there is something you can get out of them if you choose to read into it properly. And Tim Miller should be put on this cross. Tim Miller should have to answer for this. For the death of Charlie Kirk, he should be on trial. Tyler Robinson should actually be freed, and we should try Tim Miller for the murder of Charlie Kirk. That would be more justice.
We're calling people fascists. Yeah. That would be wrong if I went around calling every Democrat a communist. Agree.
So I was very glad to see that. Here he is. I like how this page is so funny. AF post. They're obviously right-wing slanted, but the way they wrote this, homosexual bulwark writer. Which gay bashing is in again, right, dude? If he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy who's gay. So whatever. Like he went on here. So what a disgusting man, dude. What a disgusting man. I'm glad. I hope that that people at some point, the Never Trump movement is properly punished for what they did. Let's catch up with the chat. Aria says Tucker would call Tim the F word. I think I need to add this to the soundboard. It's so good. And everything says, well, I'm sure many people in El Salvador would disagree with the Gulag statement. Yeah, right. And let's be clear here. Let's say Setkat sucks. It's not good. It's not good to send people there. Let's say that's the case. All right. Let's say that's the case. That's fine. Would Setkat, I think objectively, and you know I don't use that word, is less insulting than Guantanamo Bay, which is what Bush turbocharged. Setkat is a foreign government that set it up and is getting paid by the U.S. to do that. Guantanamo Bay, which Tim Miller set up, is a disgusting prison built on an island that had nukes pointed at America. That's in 1961, 1962. So what are we doing here? Like, Setkat, you don't get to talk shit when you supported Abu Ghraib, you know? Effort says, the more I coldly analyze everything, the world system is about creating a problem, then solution. It's mostly manufactured for the most part. It started mostly in the Bush era. Is a problem to solution pipeline. We are manipulated this way. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Afra, I actually had the thought yesterday. I really internalized Foucault. Everything is a function of power, Ephra. I don't know if I can go there 100%, but I didn't really fully agree with that. And then yesterday I made the switch. You're completely right. Everything is a function of power. Even things you're not sure about. Even things that you're horrified of. You know, a lot of people talk about sports gambling. The reason that it was illegal 100 years ago, but it's legal now, is because it's a function of power. Back then, it was not useful to have. Now it's useful to not. Back then, it was useful to not have people gambling on sports. Why? Because you needed them in the army or in the factory. Now that they're not in the army or the factory, it's useful to have them gambling. In fact, it makes you money. These problems and solutions that you're describing, I mean, this is the dialectic, right? The whole with the contradiction being part of the whole. It's very true. But I think that the dialectic is a tool of power. I think it's all it's all a rundown of power. It's all a rundown of power. So, we're running short on time. Let me show you here. I wanted to show you guys this, where I learned how Jubilee has, because you know how I'm very critical of Jubilee, as everyone obviously knows. I'm very impressed at the grifting ability of Jubilee. They started a podcast. These people on Jubilee, dude, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed, as I said previously. And now they fight each other, and people get in here. This is 1/3 views on 4 young people, probably don't know much. Just fine, dude. But arguing about tax rates, let's see what the normies are watching, man.
It just needs to be a flat tax for your income. If you make this much money, you pay this % in taxes for everybody. It's unfair.
I'm going to disagree with this because I believe in a progressive tax structure. If you make $100 million in a year, you should pay a higher effective tax rate than someone who makes $10,000 in a year.
Actually, I do
so
like that.
It should not be the same. It should not be the same because think about it. If you have to do 10% of $10,000, that's $1,000. You have $9,000 left. You have $9,000 to be able to afford everything you need in your life. Compared it to someone who's specifically like making $10 million a year, if they pay $5 million, they still have $5 million.
Okay, Parker, I'll give it to you. That makes sense.
First of all,
I
want to look into this, right? So.
Who gives a shit about any of these opinions, man? How did Jubilee, to me, is a look? I'm gonna watch it for Piers because Piers is the greatest. But how does this pass for entertainment now, man? For entertainment, for knowledge, you have 4 teenagers. I'm sure these people are like 19, arguing about whether it should be a flat tax or a progressive tax structure. Who gives a shit of what they think? Like, who actually cares? You're arguing about the dumbest issues, like the lowest of all the things to argue about. The tax code is not one that's going to change. So what do we care what a 19-year-old thinks about the tax code? Especially one that goes within 20 seconds of saying that they want a flat tax to a progressive tax. Who gives a shit what they have to think? I'm sure these people, dude, these people have probably never paid taxes. It's probably been the first time they paid taxes when they got on Jubilee. How the end of expertise, which Douglas Murray pointed out, you know, I think he's a locale, right? But this is impressive to me that people will tune in to watch this kind of stuff because there is no alpha. There's no alpha. You don't get to see how the kids think because these are obviously social freaks in a lot of ways, man. I mean, who else is going to be arguing about tax rates at 19? At 19, maybe kids have changed, dude. At 19, you should be out at the club. You should be out getting your beak wet. But they're here in a tie arguing about fucking tax policy and the tax code, something you can't change. Let's continue. Let's see what people watch.
With the way taxes are, right? You put taxes in, you get services out, right? Fire, police, roads, everything like that, right? Security.
Yeah.
Like national security, I should say, right? How does a billionaire take in more than $1 million worth of government services?
It's not like equivalent to how much you take in government services. Do you understand?
I'm saying like a poor
all of
person
their
might
workers-
give $1,000.
But then that would mean that the most vulnerable people have to pay the most in taxes because they need the most government assistance.
Because they consume
What
the most.
sense does that make, though? I mean, like, are you really going to make a disabled person who needs more government assistance because they cannot physically work a job? You're going to make them pay the most taxes?
I'm not necessarily talking about someone born with a
saying,
disability.
But I think the lack of proportionality is what he's trying to point out. Not necessarily that people that accept more services should have to pay an egregious amount of taxes. Obviously, they can't even afford to do that. But I think it's the proportionality, right? It's like these people are the job creators in this country. These people are the ones that are giving these folks jobs to be able to survive. So if we are criminalizing success, penalizing success to the point of financial oblivion, then why are they going to
But
continue
it's not
to
going to
be
be
job
financial
creators?
oblivion. They have so much. Like, do you know how long it would take to spend $1 trillion? He'll never be able to spend this amount of money in one lifetime.
That's really what I learned.
Who cares?
It just needs to be.
Who watches this? How can you watch this? This is part of a long form podcast. How can you watch? Dude, it's there. I've seen some liberals starting to say it, and I agree with them, that it seems like everyone in the country has regressed to the age of 12. Arguing about tax policy. Dude, they print money. Like, what are we on about? What the fuck are we talking about? Millionaires should pay more if you get more subsidies. How do millionaires, why they don't consume as much from the government? Oh, really? Like, I'm not even going to explain how Peter Thiel and Elon Musk exploit the government for money. I'm not going to do that because I'm not arguing with a 19-year-old who would say something so stupid. We live in hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
This to me, this is the black pill. Because this is what debate did, man. Is that people will watch this crap and then they will argue amongst themselves about progressive versus regressive tax policy. Like you live in a democracy, like as if your vote fucking matters. They're going to do whatever they want. Why can't we just enjoy a sweet, delicious treat like a Mexican torta and a nice Jarritos? Why can't we do that instead of arguing about fucking tax policy? What are we doing here? Why are 19-year-olds, you can't drink? Why don't you go get a pack of Marlboro Red? Oh, they changed that to 21. Why don't you, what can you do at 18 anymore or 19? They took it all away. Why don't you take a nice drive on down? This is in California, to Mexico. Go to Tijuana. Enjoy the company of some nice Mexican ladies and gentlemen. Eat a delicious taco treat. Get a little wasted and come back on Monday. Why don't you do that instead of arguing about regressive versus progressive tax rates at 19 years old? What are we doing here? What are we doing, dude? I'm going to watch Jubilee for Piers, but dude, like it really makes you want to end it. What are these children doing? What are they? And pretty soon it's going to be 15-year-olds and it's going to be 7-year-olds. It's hell, man. It's hell. Let's catch up with the chat. Jubilee. What are we doing here, folks? We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. Arya says, I dislike Bill Kristol so much. He works for the Bulwark and I didn't know he works for the Bulwark. That does, no, I do know that, Arya. Yeah, Bill Kristol. Bill Kristol's a piece of shit. I completely agree. And he was a major reason the Clinton healthcare plan was defeated. And also, Kristol advocated big time for the Iraq War. Yeah, the Iraq War thing I knew. I didn't know about the Clinton thing. But that would make sense, right? If are you talking about like when Hillary was lobbying to have it done as the first lady and the Republic? That was Ann Coulter. That was that whole fucking viper's nest that exists back then. How you doing, Mr. Elu? Our opinions don't matter. Absolutely not. Especially the opinions of these people. Like these people, their opinions don't matter for shit. Ephra says healthcare is a great example of a problem and solution pipeline. Yes, Ephra, I agree, Ephra, because the thing is, you're completely right. I've had this thought a million times where if they wanted to solve the healthcare issue, they could solve it. You know why? Because they print the money. They could solve it, but they won't because they don't want to. Because they want Chomsky. I'm not a Chomsky fan, dude, but they want vicious debate within specific paradigms. And people are starting to not see through this, but get apathetic. I think that Luigi is a part of that too. That is apathy at the end of the day. Direct action is, in that sense, apathy. Mr. Elu says it's because debate is now entertainment. Right, but dude, I'd rather watch The Godfather. Like, I rather watch Disney's Cars 2 or something than watch this, you know? How is this entertaining to, you know, they have they remade The Invisible Man. It's pretty good. I think it's on Pluto TV. It's a good movie. You could do that, you know. And everything says guy in the red tie, future PBD worker. Dude, like these kids, man. I'm not gonna shit on him for dressing up. I like when people dress up, but this is, like you said, this is a PBD or Trump knockoff, right? In terms of the dress sense. People don't develop their own personal style anymore. They just copy one of these people or the other. It's crazy. It's crazy. Mr. Elu says their parents pay taxes for it. Exactly. Debate is Love Island for incels. That's, put that on a bumper sticker. And everything says, let's get the IRS involved. They would love this debate. Oh, the IRS agent would just be sitting there like, okay, this is very funny. This is very good. Can we audit your 1099 from Jubilee, please? I want to make sure that we get everything. Mr. Elu says, I'd rather kill myself than listen to this. Oh my God. Mr. Elu says MMT. Exactly. I had everything says, how about no taxes? That would be a more interesting debate, whether taxes even matter in the era of MMT, as Mr. Elu says. What is the point of taxes when we have modern monetary theory? I believe in MMT is legit. You know, I always believed in it. I just think they didn't follow through on the deflationary part of it because they're not going to. I think they kind of used MMT, which was an interesting and good theory, to do corruption. Because it was an interesting theory. I liked it. I had everything says an illusion of a free market. Yeah, dude. The free exchange of ideas, the illusion of the free marketplace of ideas. Effort says money is an abstract idea. We give it its value. If you know that I know that you know its value, it's mostly fake. It's about the feeling of power over others, which the rich really care of. Right. And MMT makes a very similar argument, Ephraim. But it kind of goes in the other direction, which is that the government gives it value, which I tend to agree with. I don't even think, that's why I depart a little bit with the classic standard that we give it value through faith. I think the government gives it value. You know, try to set up your own money and see how that ends up. You know, they'll kill you, you know? So it's interesting. I know it says, and don't piss off the cartel. You don't piss off the cartel while you're down in Mexico. But you can still have a good time, you know? Ephra says, because they are empty people. That's true. That's true. People are empty. They have nothing in their lives, and they rather watch people fight about things that they can't change, you know? All right, guys. Let's catch up with the chats all the way, and then I'll log off here. I'm finally getting Photoshop back. I've been using the online version because I didn't know how to use this this new computer, but Arya says, yep, Bill Crystal helped kill Bill and Hillary. Kill Bill. Bill Crystal helped kill Bill. Bill Crystal was a producer on Kill Bill. That's I know you didn't mean that, Arya. That's pretty funny. And Hillary's healthcare. Bill Crystal helped kill Bill. Bill Crystal helped the bride in Kill Bill. King Leo, did you ever see older debates? Did you ever watch Roy Cohn debate or Vidal? I like Vidal and Buckley. Like those were, because that was more than debate. That was actually an art form, Arya. I know what you mean. Like that is an art form. That's different. Where you actually come away with more of an. Gore Vidal wrote amazing books, like really good books. You know, so when they debated back then, I wouldn't watch the Nixon versus JFK debate. I think that's a historical curiosity. But I know what you mean. These ideological debates, you can also read them. Like I've read parts of the Lincoln-Stevenson debate, and those are fun to read. Or the Federalist Papers. Everyone reads those at some point. That's a different thing because sure, it's debate, but these guys were trying to clarify and understand each other. Nowadays, it's what do taxes your Hitler? Like it's just stupid, you know. It's just stupid. But I do like those, the Vidal Buckley ones. That's a very good one. Norman Mailer, I haven't seen that one, but there's a Norman Mailer documentary that's worth watching. Those debates were amazing. Those were good debates. Completely agree. Everything says taxation is left. Well, I think that, yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess the left is more for taxes. That's true. Taxation is left. Is that a slogan? I want to see. Buckley versus Chomsky or Buckley versus Baldwin. I'm not a Baldwin fan myself. Taxation is for inflation or inequality, according to MMT. That's what. And they don't do it. They don't do it. They're supposed. I don't care about the inequality thing because I think it's a secondary effect. Sure, like it'd be nice, but for the inflation, why don't they raise the taxes, reduce the money supply, right? That's what I like about MMT. It treats money as like this liquid thing that we can really manipulate like that with supply and demand, which is very cool and very true. Taxes don't pay for everything, for anything. I completely agree. Completely agree. Harvey Weinstein was probably a producer on. All right, everybody. I'm glad that no one here really believes in taxes. Yeah, taxes are fake. Thank you. Efra says, King Leo, I do agree that government gives money its value, but who gives government its legitimacy? It's the people. There is a reason why there's a good idea to invest in North Korea or put your money in it in North Korea. That's true, but I think Efra, they also have the monopoly on violence, right? But I do agree with you that there is a change because it's not just a monopoly on violence. The government, through some psychological tactics, also keeps us in line. Interestingly, I'm gonna think on that, Efra. I'm gonna think on that tonight when I'm done here, actually. Because I'm not sure. I do think that legitimacy is actually more hard power than soft power. I don't think soft power can really exist in this day and age. I think it can, but it's very hard for it to be the main driver. But that's a good point. I'm actually going to think about that over the weekend. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you fellas. I hope you guys like the new look of the show. I think it's a nice look. I added some secret stuff in here. 2 things that you might not notice. But I think the chat looks really nice. I like the glass look. It's a nice look. And as you can see, the names are there of everyone who's contributed. I think Efra's there. Yeah, Efra's definitely there. Efra, Robert, Audio Vibes. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in. It was a slower show tonight, but we still got some fun in here. It's a midnight. Guys, it's the weekend. It's Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. Hey, you know what? Let me put you guys on. Dude, if anyone needs any new computer or electronic needs, check out this store if you have one in your state. This is where I got the computer this week. I'll send you the link here. If you need anything. Thank you, I had everything. I appreciate it. Guys, if you need anything. I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm telling you because they're going to run out of the sales, okay? Dude, these guys, I got this computer that I had to redo everything on because ChatGPT broke the old one, and it's so cheap. This place is really good. You should check it out if you get a chance this weekend. It's really good. There's only one in Florida. It's 40 minutes from me. I was very lucky. So yeah, it's a good place. All right, everybody. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate you. Thank you. I had everything. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys tuning in, man. We had a good time. I will see you guys on Tuesday. And we will actually have regularly scheduled clips and the show that I shoot in the backyard too, like Leo Rambles, because we're back. We have the technology. We have rebuilt the show, and it's even stronger. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go watch a movie maybe. And everyone have a great weekend. Spend time with your family. Have a great time. Everyone, tune in. Lock in. Have a great weekend and enjoy Cyber Monday sales.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. 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 Change the world. My final message.